Hola, ¿qué tal? Bendiciones, te saluda Alexis Ortega. Estoy aquí en la fábrica Moog, de los teclados famosos Moog. Voy a estar probando este teclado, que es un teclado clásico de los 60. No lo puedes oír porque tienes que usarlo por aquí. Voy a estar tocando en unos minutos y vamos a estar entrando a la fábrica, que van a hacer un tour donde van a enseñar cómo se hicieron estos teclados. Espero les guste este documental. Recuerda que Dios te ama y nosotros también. Amén. Aquí estoy, señores y señoras, en la fábrica de Moog, el famoso teclado. Aquí voy a estar probando estos teclados en unos minutos. Estoy esperando para hacer un tour aquí. Qué maravilla. Ahora voy a empezar a probar los teclados en esta belleza. We are in the Moog Factory now, down here in North Carolina. We're gonna play. I want to play a few keyboards in a few minutes. So this is so beautiful. Miren esto, look at this. Estos son los teclados clásicos. They are classic keyboards.
So it should come to 866. Okay. Cool.
I'm gonna try this one. Voy a tratar de tocar este de aquí. Lo que no se puede. Es lo de los 60. El Moog no se puede oír porque estoy usando un audífono. En unos minutos vamos a estar entrando a la fábrica, que van a hacer un tour de cómo se hacen los teclados, y todo el mundo está esperando aquí. Puedes usar los teclados con audífonos, así que espero que esto les guste.
This was kind of the centerpiece of that show, and valued at almost $2 million. It's now in a private collection in Philadelphia. But the writing for the catalog about the exhibit, a lot of the writing is basically like comparing this to some of Bach's pianos. But big difference there is hundreds of thousands of living people got to see this played live on stage. So anyway. What is a synthesizer to begin with? Well, I'm sure you know this. It's an electronic instrument. It uses electricity coming in from the power supply to feed all the circuits. And it's transistor-based technology. That's something that happened in the 50s. The transistor replaced the vacuum tube as the predominant kind of form of electronics. So they call this the second major electronics revolution, with the digital revolution being in full swing right now, right? So these components were put on by humans one at a time, and this was a painstaking process. You basically took a transistor, a diode, a capacitor, a resistor, got it off a spool of 100 or 200 at a time. It had two metal prongs on either side, and it has to go through two holes in the right place on the board, and then you flip the board and you put two blobs of hot metal, solder, and when the solder cools, you've now welded one electronic component to your circuit board. Well, there's quite a few to solder on there, and this is one of 80 modules for the entire system. So this entire synth would take a team of people, up to 48 people, 6 weeks to build, and 1,000 hours of collected labor. So as a result, very expensive. And now, when robotics got involved in circuit board manufacturing in the 70s, circuit boards started to be printed. So they would print all the electronics right onto the surface, or they would have robotic arms be basically placing all the parts the old-fashioned way. Now, over time, parts got miniaturized, and they started doing this thing called integrated circuits, where they would bundle clusters of parts, so they didn't have to put one on at a time, called ICs. This is the equivalent of, actually, so the best example, which, by the way, no recording of the tour, just a reminder. All right, so on this side of the board here, like a